Mike Perlak here to entertain you with the help of Jimmy Buffett. I got fins to the left, fins to the right, and you're the only girl in town. I'm still working on my tribute video to Jimmy Buffett on account of his passing. I have 16 CDs from him in my 7,777 CD collection, so it's going to take a little while, but hopefully this coming weekend I should be able to come up with something. But anyways, I just wanted to get one out there quick before I turn in and talk a little talk a little bit about things I've learned about my health recently. Working these two jobs, I feel like I have the metabolism of a 12-year-old again. Let me stay with me. Okay, it's amazing to me how much protein I need to consume to keep up with this. And it was the headaches that helped me to figure this out, and talking to people at work and everything. But I never knew what starvation felt like. Legitimate starvation felt like, because for most of my life I consumed a lot, empty calories, with the exception of one time when I was a kid. The first time I lost weight on my own terms. I didn't understand it. I just dealt with it. I would get a five when I was working at a job, and I still lived at home. And I was losing weight, basically consuming no sugar, and I was getting a headache every day at 5 o'clock. That's something a person remembers in their life. It's like I could count on it every day at 5 o'clock. Bam, migraine. Would not go away until I got home and chugged a half gallon of skim milk. So go figure. But that was the first time in my life I had success with weight loss on my own terms. Part of it was I was following some crazy diet that was supposed to cure my psoriasis that my mother bought. My mother was good intention. Found in a back of a magazine this book called "Psoriasis Can Be Cured." Had it was like real thin. It was the size of a small magazine basically. And had step by step things, ways, what to eat, what not to eat to cure your psoriasis. Even had this weird regimen where I had to rub my knee, the side of my knee every night like this. And I did it. I was so desperate. I went, okay, this guy's saying this works, and of course I wanted to cure my psoriasis, so I followed this freaking crazy diet to a key. And the only thing I got was 5 o'clock migraines every day. That wouldn't go away till I chugged a half gallon of skim milk. Alright, I'm already rambling. Okay, this is going to be a little longer than I thought. But okay, so anyways, so I never really knew what actual legitimate starvation felt like till, like I said, back then I didn't really understand what was going on. I just dealt with it. Because when you're young, you can deal with stuff like headaches and, minor aches and pains a little more better than, you can as you get older. But, but recently, I'm finding that it's amazing how much protein I need to consume to keep up with two jobs, working two jobs. I mean, I'm constantly doing stuff now, and it's just amazing. It got to the point where I was struggling with a headache, and I was able to figure it out with the help of a coworker. I was able to figure out that I ate a protein bar, and finally the headache was subsiding. So I went out and bought. God, I probably spent like $60 on all various protein bars from Aldi. So they're the cheapest, I found that with the protein bars, if the water doesn't make the headache go away, that means I am legitimately experiencing starvation and I need protein. So I got the 5 gram protein bars, the 10 gram, the 12, the 18, and the 20. Now, what I found interesting is depending on the severity of the headache, sometimes the headache is just minor and that 5 gram protein bar, 5 grams of protein, will make it go away like that and it's all good. Sometimes just half of the bar. I wake up in the middle of the night and I got a little bit of a headache coming on. I'll eat half of the bar because I know I still need to make sure I wake up in the morning. I don't really use an alarm anymore. But depending on the severity of the headache, if water doesn't work, obviously I am experiencing legitimate starvation and I need to consume protein. So if the headache is severe, well then lean towards the other end, the 18 to 20 gram of protein bar. But I'm not a health expert. I'm just sharing what I've learned through my lifetime through trial and error. So, but I'm not a expert. But I'm just telling you what I've learned over time through trial and error. It was only, but that feeling of starvation, that's also what I was experiencing, that first time when I was a kid, when I lost weight under my own terms. Only I would just get, I wasn't getting the pale face and the weakness, or if I did, nobody was telling me about it when I was a kid. I just got the irritability. But when I was a kid, also, I had very little muscle mass compared to now. I got a hell of a lot more muscle, and that's just through life, through being alive, not just because I work out, but just from being alive and working. As you get older, you just naturally just work more and more. But I definitely had less muscle mass when I was a kid, but I got plenty of cardio because I was riding my bike to this job that I had, Burger King, drive-through cashier, and I was riding my bike 35 minutes to the job and 35 minutes home, 6 days a week. Mainly because I didn't want to work at the Burger King in my neighborhood because I perceived the area that I chose to apply at, I perceived at the time as a better area. I didn't exactly live in a friendly neighborhood. But I remember my boss at the place at the time, this Burger King, one day was like, he actually drove to my house to pick me up for work once because my bike broke down or something. Anyways, and when he's picking me up, he's like, "Whoa, you live closer to the other one. It makes more sense for you to work there." And I remember thinking, because I was just a stupid kid, I was like, "Oh God, is he going to make me work over there?" I didn't realize that, no, he couldn't force me to work in someplace I didn't want to. There was a reason I rode my bike to the Burger King in the next neighborhood over. But I didn't know that, being a naive kid. But this was when minimum wage was like $5.75 or $6 an hour. And the only way I could get 40 hours working at this Burger King was if I stayed there till almost 8, 9 o'clock at night on a Saturday night. There were times that myself and eventually at some point my sister too, we would have to drive home. But on most Saturday nights, my mom would come pick us up in her, what I called 81/88 Caprice. I called it that because technically it was an 81, but my mom's boyfriend, who was an alley mechanic, wheeling, dealing, alley mechanic at the time, put an 88 back end on it because the original back end was smashed or whatever. If anybody knows anything about cars, you could put an 88, the back end of an 88 Caprice on an 81, and it will look like an 81/88 Caprice. So that's what I called it. But anyways, on a Saturday night, my mom would pick us up, and we put our bikes in the trunk. And I always got Sunday off. I remember the boss there saying, "It'll be a cold day in hell if you before you would ever have to work on a Sunday." And I just was thinking, good. But no, working there that late on a Saturday night was the only way I can get to 40 hours. I didn't have rent to pay at this time in my life. I helped out with household stuff and grocery stuff like that. But I didn't have rent to pay. And that's the only way I was able to afford to purchase, eventually, a $500 camcorder, video camcorder. I'm also finding that I'm trying to use my my left arm more often because I'm right-handed, and for the first time in my life, I actually felt my right arm bicep cramp up. I never had that before. So I also put most of my weight on my right leg, so I'm also trying to compensate for that now and putting more weight on my left leg. It's just one of those things, you know. When you grow up in the conditions where you have to work your butt to survive, it just kind of happens that way. But wearing this, I only found one at the Goodwill anyways, but I was like, you know what, it's perfect for what I want to do. It actually will make my left arm work harder, which is actually good, because since my car accident, I still have trouble with my shoulder, especially the left shoulder. Not so much with the right shoulder, I think, because I'm right-handed and I use it more often, so I think this is going to compensate for that. This is at least 3, if not 4 pounds on here, but I think it's going to help in the long term. All right, I got to get going on my workout, so I just wanted to... There's only one more other thing I wanted to mention on here. I watched Dr. Lindsay Doe of the Sexplanation YouTube channel. She doesn't post as often as she used to, but she posted the other day. And she posted a video talking about, I guess, a former student of hers, which she maintained contact with for many years. And the student was talking about how they were cisgender or queer, or why would I BS. It's all BS to me. Anyways, they were talking about how, first of all, I can't understand how somebody can claim to be happy and extremely overweight. I really can't relate to that, because any time in my life I've been overweight, I've been extremely unhappy. So when somebody says I'm fat and happy, I have a hard time believing that. I really do. But anyways, that's what this student, our former student of Dr. Lindsay Doe of the Sexplanations YouTube channel was claiming. And that she identifies as this, that, and the other thing as far as her own sexuality goes, and she's okay with her partner pursuing other experiences with other people. And I'm looking at this chick, and I'm looking at this whatever she is, and thinking, yeah, if this person was my wife or girlfriend, I think I'd be happy that she's had no problem with me pursuing intimacy with other people too. What a world, man. What a freaking world. There was brief footage of the person before they entered college, or when they just entered college, and, you know, I looked at, okay, you know, maybe cute, maybe, but definitely look better than they look now, that's for sure. But like I said, I cannot, because I made a bunch of comments on that video, but I cannot conceive of the notion of somebody claiming to be fat and happy. And I will never be convinced that when I start seeing mass populace of model quality females, traditional feminine model quality women, dating big fat obese guys and talking about how much they love performing fellatios on their big fat obese husbands every night. The day I start to see that is the day I'll be convinced that modern feminism is about equality. So good luck there, because I don't think that's ever going to happen. Because these modern feminism is one big fat hypocrisy. That's what it is. Modern feminism has become one big fat hypocrisy. It's not our grandmother's feminism. It's not fighting for the right to vote. This is a whole nother ballgame. Modern feminism is one big fat hypocrisy. Nothing more. Nothing more. Mike Perlak, thank you for your time.